Hello and welcome to BusyWorksBeats.com. I'm Game from BusyWorksBeats.com. We train over 700,000 producers around the world. Some have gone to work with Drake, Young Thug, Post Malone, YG, French Montana, Ray Shremmerd, NBA Youngboy, Ariana Grande, Post Malone, if I already said that already. There's like a lot of Billboard charting artists that I'm forgetting to mention. Every single video I forget how many good artists they've worked with. Shout out to those guys. Today I'm going to show you a technique for your beat making that will help you create a groove, like a bounce, like a hidden bounce to your beat, like the thing that catches your ear but you don't know what it is. I'm going to unlock that for you today. So the first thing is vocal tags. You have to have something that gets people signaled to get ready for excitement. So the same way, you know, like you whistle for a dog, or like you ring a bell to get your dogs to come so that you can feed them. You want to signal your audience and brand them sonically, it's called. So sonic branding is one of those hidden functions. Like when you open up Netflix, whoom, when you say, hey Siri, Siri listens to you. When you say, hey Alexa, Alexa listens to you. So there are these things called sonic branding that embed your anticipation factor inside the listener across the board for any song you produce. So that's why it's important to have tags that are consistently tied to you. So for example, Nicole Nix did my tag. She did a lot of them. One's for
busy.
That's for like trap beats and like upbeat beats. So you have to get one for each mood. And again, you can go to NicoleNix.com to learn more about her vocal tags. I highly recommend them. I highly recommend you get enough tags to fit every single mood of your beats. So I have one for upbeat.
Busy.
I have one for like fancier beats.
This is tailor-made.
And then I have one for like club beats.
What it do, play it.
Okay, so those are three different styles that I'm used to producing. Now, when I get more styles, I'm going to add more. Okay, so I threw the This is tailor-made in here because it's fancy. This reminds me of Rick Ross, Maybach music type. Let me turn on the effects so you can hear all this. I'm going to run the beat back, and I want you guys to hear this. And then I'm going to show you the secret here.
This is tailor-made.
Just crazy. So I learned this technique from Mixbus TV. I got to give props where it's due. He consulted me behind the scenes. I paid for coaching and consulting. He's a master. If I could plug anybody for anything, if you want to learn anything about mixing and mastering, Mixbus TV's brain is like Google on steroids times 10 about mixing. This man is like a mega genius. It's ridiculous. Not only did he help me save tens of thousands of dollars on my studio build, he also gave me information that changed the whole way I think about mixing and producing. And I could buy a gazillion consultations and learn something every single time. And he gives you so much in one sitting. That's why I respect him so much. So again, the vocal tag is the one thing that set it off. I forgot to turn it down, so my bad. Let me hear it in normal volume.
This is tailor-made.
And then you would run it through all your mixing and everything. So the key here is that we're grouping all the musical stuff. So the sample, the bass, I think our bass is yeah. So the sample, the bass, anything you want to be unified, we're going to put what's called a C6 sidechain stereo. This is the only plugin that I know works well in FL Studio. A lot of other plugins could do this, but this is the only one I know that for sure works. So it's called C6 sidechain stereo. So not just the regular C6, you got to get the C6 sidechain stereo for FL Studio. Now what we're going to do is tell it to have an external key. And what that means is it's going to listen to a signal. And every time that signal hits, it's going to compress whatever's on this channel. So what that means is every time I have something hit, like a kick drum or a vocal, or even the bass guitar is the secret one that I use today, is the bass triggers the compressor. So what does that mean? Every time the sample plays, every time the bass starts playing, it pushes the volume down on the sample. And what that does is it creates these cuts, these little micro grooves in the beat. And you don't realize it, but your brain starts to synchronize with the bass subconsciously. So now that you know what's happening, here's how you set it up. So we have the bass going to the sample group. Now, since it's routed directly to the group, you can use, in this case, it's going to show up on your list. Okay, so go to your C6 sidechain, go to your settings icon up in the top right, top left, go to your VST wrapper settings, go to where it says processing. Now, here's the key to set it up. You have to set up what's called a key, or an input. Okay, so when you right click, you can select all the tracks that are routed to this specific track. So since I routed the bass to this track, again, to do that, you just go to your bass. You can either right click and sidechain to this track, which is the normal way to do it. But since all my sounds are going into one track, I have the bass going into the track itself. Okay, so there's multiple ways to do this. I don't want to complicate it with too much mixing jargon. So now that we have it in C6, we're going to go to the VST wrapper settings, go to processing, and where it says stereo aux in, we're going to turn that on, and then right click and select your bass. So now whenever the bass hits, the whole track gets compressed. So the bass is getting compressed, the sample's getting compressed, so it all feels like one thing. But the key is that the groove of the compression, the cutting of it, is based on the timing of the bass. So now that we go to stereo aux in, we can go to the plugin interface, and I bypassed all the compressors just in the case that they were doing like ghost compression that I couldn't see. You switch the bottom where it says sidechain, switch this to external, so it's listening to an outside thing outside of this specific channel, which is, now technically the bass is routed to this channel, but not in the channel itself. So it's an external thing. And then we set the tack, I can't read from back here, forgive me, to 66 milliseconds. So it has like a little, like a later type of time coming in, and then 67 released milliseconds. So watch as this moves.
Is tailor-made.
So I want you to listen to the bass and watch how this goes. And it's going to move based on the bass. So let me turn my mic off. I have to turn the mix bus stuff back on so it's loud enough.
This is tailor-made.
Forgot I have this super loud. So let's say you didn't want the bass to blend in with everything else. What you could do is route the bass directly to your outputs or your master fader or your mix bus, however you have your track routed, and just sidechain to that track. So another way to do it is right click sidechain to that track. Go to C6 sidechain stereo, go to your settings. You want to right click where it says stereo aux in, select your bass, and then turn it on. So now again, when the bass hits, the track will get lowered. I'll exaggerate it so you can really hear it, and then I'll pull it back.
This is tailor-made. This is tailor-made.
Okay, so that's a secret way. Now you can also do it with your kick. So what you would do is you would grab your kick that you want to turn the volume down on the instruments every time the kick hits. You could do that same thing. And the cool part is that we're only affecting a specific frequency range as opposed to the entire sound. So it's not like every time the bass hits, the entire track is wiped out. It's just a small frequency range. And that small frequency range, once you have it set up the way you have it set up, the bass can now live there without conflicting with the sample. And it's a really cool way to create groove as well, because people are listening to the volume go up and down and they don't know what's happening, but subconsciously you're programming the brain to listen to the bass movements. And that's a key that, might be a little higher level, but I wanted to expose you to that so that you understand this is like the nuance of getting to that next level. Sometimes you just got to face it and say, mixing is my weakness. I remember the first day I said, mixing is my weakness. I need to learn mixing. And like after that point, I fell in love with mixing because it's a huge part of beat making. So I want you to have these cool advantages. And again, vocal tags are the secret advantage as well. You got to think about sonic branding, because when you hear this tag,
This is Tailor Made.
you're getting ready for my smooth type beats. And DJ Payne 1 is the one who inspired this type beat. So I want to thank him for his inspiration. His styles of music are really cool. So thank you. It's Game from BusyWorksBeats.com. I'll leave all the links below. I just want you guys to know that these are the keys. Okay, so get your vocal tags from NicoleNix.com. I recommend getting one for each mood. Very important, because this mood is very specific.
This is Tailor Made.
Okay, it's not my turn up type beat, so you got to get one for each mood. So thank you for watching. It's Game from BusyWorks Beats. I'd appreciate it if you could just smash the like button as a thank you, and subscribe if you're new, and just keep up with the content. Not the Kardashians, but the content. All right, peace out, guys. Thank you.